Hey, you're that gamer without a gaming rig. That's you. Yeah, you behind the screen. You don't have a gaming rig. I heard you have 300 to spend, though. I mean, you came to the right place then. Let's get into it. Okay, so first off, disclaimer, 300 is not exactly a big budget, it's very restricted. So you have a couple options, okay? You can go with the pre-built, the easiest route, just pre-built. You slot in the graphics card and move on. You have build your own PC with new components, and then build your own PC with used components, older components. The last one is get a console. It's that easy. So let's get into the detailed stuff about each one. And here are the timestamps. They're somewhere on the screen at this point in time. Yeah, timestamps. So first off, the pre-built route. Why go for pre-built route? Why not go for a pre-built route? So, first thing about pre-builts is that they're literally just old pre-built computers. That's all there is to it. You just slot in a graphics card and you're like, wow, it can game. Because most of them can, depending on which one you pick. For example, for this budget, €300 budget, what I would recommend getting is one with a 4690K. That's an i5, by the way. Dell Optiplex with like an i5 4690K. Don't get an SFF or an SF. Wait, no, small form factor. Yeah, don't get SFF or any. Get like a full tower Dell PC, because when you get any of these smaller towers or the SFF models, you're going to be restricted with the graphics card you choose to low profile graphics cards, and those don't go very well with budgets usually. What I would recommend is obviously getting full tower Dell Optiplex with an i5 4690K, because you can usually find those around €200, even if it's not the K version. That's perfectly fine. 4690 is a decent CPU. It won't last you much longer for AAA gaming, but it will last you pretty damn long for esports. If you're an esports gamer, like, I don't know, Valorant, CSGO, stuff like that, you're gonna be fine with the CPU. And a graphics card I do recommend is going for like an RX 460, because you can sometimes find them for under 100. You can also find them for like over 150. Just try find a deal on an RX 460. Shouldn't be too hard. You can still find quite a lot of them for about 100 or less. Last time I checked on eBay, anyways, that was like this morning. As of sometime in March 19th, I think it's 19th of March. Wait, is it? It is in fact the 20th of March. I can't keep up with my days. So 20th of March, this morning, you can find really a good amount of them for under 100. Keeping it right at that €300 budget. Next, let's go to never mind, not next, actually. Now, why you wouldn't want to get a pre-built and upgraded is lack of future proofing and upgradability in the future. Because, it's an old platform. For example, the i5 4690K I mentioned, it's not gonna keep up with like an RX 6700 XT or like an RTX 3070, 3080, 3090. It's not gonna keep up with any of them because it is a pretty old CPU. It's not going to keep up with them. But what it will keep up with is like lower power graphics cards, a 1650 Super, maybe even a 1660 Ti in certain games. Not all the games, certain games. Okay. Next thing, it's just building your own PC, like with new parts. The thing about the €300 budget is that you can't find many new parts that are good For example, what I do recommend for a €300 budget would be an Athlon 200 GE, 8 gigs of RAM, the B450, which does go slightly over budget, but it allows for much better upgradability, and 600 watt EVGA power supply, specifically the 600W1. That one's pretty good. It's 600 plus white, 80 plus white rated power supply. Getting yourself a case that just suits the aesthetic and has airflow. Airflow is pretty important if you want upgradability, just saying. So with that, you do kind of spend more on like getting better upgradability in the future, rather than getting yourself a good gaming thing right now. Because let's be honest, the Athlon 200 GE ain't playing any AAA titles. It's fine for esports, to be honest. You can play CSGO, you can play Overwatch, Valorant. It's decent enough to play those. But what I can't play would probably include The Witcher 3, The Crew 2. You might know. You can't really play The Crew 2. Forza Horizon 4. You'd have to go pretty low in the settings to be able to play them comfortably at like 30 plus FPS, maybe 60 in some games. Cyberpunk won't really run well on it at all. You do have limited performance, but you do have amazing upgradability on the AM4 platform. With B450 boards, you can in fact go up to 3rd gen Ryzen. The Ryzen 5000, I'm pretty sure, is going. I think AMD is gonna update the B450 boards so that Ryzen 5000 series CPUs can be placed in them and work. So if they do, which I'm not sure if they have or not, but if they do, that's good. That's Ryzen 5000 upgradability. You know what I mean? That's going from like an Athlon to a Ryzen 5 5600X. That's a pretty steep. That's a pretty steep upgrade. But you know what I'm saying? You know, you can always go for those stuff later on, and then you can always slot in a graphics card whenever you want, because the Athlon 3000G CPU is capable to handle more than just the Vega 3 graphics. Not a lot more, but more nonetheless. So we have literally done a whole video about like 300, 500, 1,000 euros computer. So check the last video. It has all the details you need about that computer. I think we use an A320 instead of a B450 just to save us a bit of money. But if you are willing to spend that like extra 20 euros to get a B450, it is way worth it. Okay, next we have the old components, which can be, you know, subjective. Some people like me like the 4690K, you know, the i5 4690K, because it's 4 cores, 4 threads, and it's relatively cheap. Some people are like, no, don't go for used parts at all, because you never know. There's always a risk, and they're correct. There's always a risk of like a component not working or something, but if you buy it off eBay, they have great customer support, and you're more than likely gonna get a refund if you buy an i5 or anything really that just doesn't work. You're more than likely gonna get a refund from eBay. Once we have the risks out of the way, let's talk about parts. What should you get for a used system for 300? My favorite thing to get would be Xeon motherboard and RAM combo. Found the word combo off of AliExpress. Like, some sellers have sold literally thousands of them. Like, it's pretty good. You can get a 6-core 2620 V3 Xeon paired with an X99 motherboard and 16 gigs of RAM for about 100 and something, 130, 150. It is around there. And that is an amazing price for 16 gigs of RAM, 6 cores, 12 threads, and a motherboard. 150. Then you have another 150 to spend on everything else. Like power supply, you would spend 50 on that for the 600 watt EVGA 600 W1 power supply, which I do recommend for like nearly anything, because I like that power supply. It's just me. I like that power supply. It's decent, and I like EVGA power supplies, as you can see behind me here. You know, EVGA make great power supplies. So, altogether, you can make one for 300 even, for 300 with a pretty low power graphics card, but graphics card is always upgradable, which is pretty damn good. Going Xeon will allow you for better graphics card upgradability than going for like an i5, an old i5, which you would find for similar prices. Again, if you do go for the 6-core 6-thread option, or 6-core 12-thread option, good for you. That's a great choice. 16 gigs of RAM and stuff. You can find like 8 gigs of RAM for less. I think you can find 8 gigs of RAM with the Xeon E5 2620 V3. You can also find the V2 version, which is slower but cheaper, or just the 2620, which is the slowest 2620, but it's cheaper again. And you might be able to fit like a graphics card in the budget, like a 460 again, if you go for the 2620. But if you want any more detail into those builds, just, you know, hop onto our Instagram or our website. Both will be linked down below. You can ask us a few questions about, you know, PCs. If you want to buy something off us, actually, we do sell PCs. So hop onto the website if you want to buy anything, because it's kind of good price. Not gonna lie, kind of good prices. Just saying. All right, next we got the consoles. So why go for a console, you might say? Is console a good option? I hear you saying. I hear you from across the planet. Why would you go for a console? Well, why not? Let's be honest. Why not go for a console? If you're just gonna be gaming, maybe even streaming, you can do that with a console now. You can stream and game with a console, which is pretty damn cool, if I say so myself. You won't be doing that with a GameCube, but you'll be doing that with like a PS4. You can do that. So, you know, just saying. You can find Xbox One X's for under 300 all the time, or exactly on the 300 mark. I don't find many of them above 300, because whoever is selling them is probably aiming to get an Xbox Series S, which is less powerful in the GPU department, but it has a much better CPU, and it's also next gen. Altogether though, going console is not bad. Don't hate on console, because, you know, we're all gamers, we're all cool, we're all buddies, you know. But just in general, going console is not bad if you're just looking to game. Xbox One X, Xbox Series S even now is in the €300 range. You can find PS4s for around that much less. PS4 Pros go for that much. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it very, very much. If you do want to check out what we sell, computers and stuff, go check out the website down below, and check out our Instagram if you want. It's just pretty cool. So again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.